as a police officer don't like using pepper spray because you know what you have to take into account which way the wind's blowing, right? Because if what happened to me was I had to use it on someone, and of course the burst of wind is blowing in my direction, right? So what happens? I get pepper sprayed, and now I'm fighting with one eye closed, and you name it. So every weapon you have to always think about. If you're not accustomed to it or you don't put things into account, it actually could become a weapon against you. So you got to think about like with pepper spray, because pepper spray, and definitely if you don't get your hands on mace, because mace is a chemical, which is pepper spray is actually natural. You use mace will clear out a whole stadium. I mean, it really would cause people to have asthma attacks and everything else. So you got to think about it because you're not going to have the most opportune situation to use it. So it could be a point where it's windy and it's not going to do anything unless you're up close. And if you're up close enough to a person to spray them, guess what? You're going to get sprayed too.
I have a question. Good evening.
Good evening.
We are in a pandemic and we need to respond to the protocols that speak of distance 6 feet.
Right.
Or what would you regard as the safest, putting the pandemic aside?
Right.
What would you regard as the safest distance between any two individuals who are meeting for the first time in communicating?
Oh man, that's a great question because it's twofold. It's a safety question too in general, right? Like, so in the Marine Corps, they always taught me one arm's distance, right? And the reason why is if a person can reach and touch you, they can reach and punch you, right? They can reach and grab you, they can reach and do anything. So I always use the 2-arm distance rule, right? Like where basically, I don't know how much that could be, depends on your length. But if it in terms of the pandemic, I'm just using both terms. In terms of pandemic, they tell you 6 feet. That's basically the height of a regular person distance. In terms of safety, I still like the 6 feet. I'll be honest with you, this pandemic, I still like it because I like keeping people at a distance because you just never know what they're gonna do, right? If you guys paid attention to that concert that happened, the Astro World concert where everybody had to stampede, someone was walking around and stabbing people with needles full of drugs. So, you always got to be cognizant of your surroundings. And I will not let anyone within, I'm trying to show you, I don't let them within this, right? I always say, use your mouth. You can speak to me. You don't, if you have to yell a little bit, you have to yell, but you don't need to be that close to talk to me, until I trust you, Well, and even then, I'll be honest with you, I got kids. I keep them at a distance. I was like, I don't know what y'all want to do. You might try to get my life insurance money, So that was a great question. Anyone else?
Yeah, unmute yourselves. Unmute yourselves and ask if you need to. Thank you.
So you got a police, and I already know most people because growing up, I never actually spoke to a police officer until I joined the police department. So I know that everyone has some type of question. Maybe you're not interested, and that's fine too. But I know that you always wanted to ask a police officer something. So, it's your chance, before I leave, you never know when you get another chance. And there literally isn't any stupid questions. I don't,
Another question.
Okay.
It might appear to be impolite.
Right.
But somebody who is meeting you or you are meeting for the very first time might tell you his or her name, address, and occupation or place of work. Is it necessary to respond in the same manner?
No.
Or just listen to the person and hear what he or she has to say and respond accordingly?
I like what you're saying because it's giving out, identifying information, that's you got to be careful of nowadays. Even just giving your name and a phone number, believe it or not, you just gave away a lot of information. That phone